covered earlier in the show House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's disastrous appearance on CNN, but this merited two separate things.
Indeed.
She absolutely melted down when Wolf Blitzer of CNN pressed her on the details of the bill, and she lashed out at him as some sort of Republican toady and just made it so obvious this woman does not want a deal. She wants to let the country burn and score political points. Let's take a listen.
Yeah, you evidently do not respect the chairman of the committees who wrote these bills.
I respect
and
all of you.
I wish you would respect the knowledge that goes into getting meeting the needs of the American people. But again, you've been on a jag defending the administration all this time with no knowledge of the difference between our two bills. And I thank you for giving me the opportunity to say that to you in person.
Right. Madam Speaker, these are incredibly difficult times right now, and we'll leave it on that note. Thank you so much for joining us.
We'll leave it on the vote that you are not right on this, Wolf, and I hate to say that to you. But I feel confident about it, and I feel confident about my colleagues, and I feel confidence in my chairs.
And it's not about me. It's about millions of Americans who can't put food on the table, who can't pay the rent.
And we represent them. And we represent them.
Getting by these long food lines that we're seeing. I know you are.
We know them.
I'm just saying.
We represent them, and we know them.
As we say,
we know them. We represent them.
Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good, as they say.
It is nowhere near perfect.
Madam Speaker.
Always the case, but we're not even close to the good.
All right.
Wow. And by the way, so first of all, it made me so angry to watch this entire appearance where she, first of all, complete contempt and complete outrage that she's even getting pressed on this. She can't believe that she's having to answer a tough question about, hey, Ro Khanna, Andrew Yang, others are saying this is a pretty decent deal and you may not get a better shot at it. Why not go forward? That is Wolf Blitzer's duty to ask that question. And she's so outraged that she gets challenged at all, which also goes to show you how little Democratic politicians, the treatment they expect to get on CNN or MSNBC is this just fawning, praise, and softball questions. And then that she goes down this line of you and your colleagues are carrying water for the Republicans. What network are you watching?
CNN,
it's insane.
Lady.
It's completely insane.
I don't know where she gets off on that. And look, it's funny, but it's not, because
it is enraging.
Wolf actually got to the heart. He was like, this isn't about me. He's like, this is about people on the food on their tables. As he was talking about, he's like, I see them on the streets literally starving. And that is the reality of the situation.
Well, he's in D.C., here where we are. We see him too.
So that area where he is in particular, that actually, I understand exactly what he's talking about. And I guarantee you she probably doesn't see it. Maybe out the window whenever she's in her little convoy. And I think that just highlights what he's like, look, props to him, really, because he's like, you need to not let the perfect be the enemy of the good, and you need to pass something.
Yeah.
She's making it eminently clear there. I'm not passing a goddamn thing. And I went through the objections of these committee chairs from her letter. It's bullshit. Let's be honest. This is bullshit. This contract tracing, post off. Look, I'm not saying it's not important. State and local, even there's some in there that the Republicans offer. We're talking about a $400 unemployment plus up and $1,200 checks. Needs to go out.
Needs to happen.
Immediately.
Lifeline for small business, airline workers, tens of thousands who have been furloughed, who are staring down, a horrible winter ahead of them. And, the other thing that was so disturbing to me was the number of people. I watched that clip and I was like, wow, that was a disaster for Nancy Pelosi. And that's maybe the best thing I've ever seen Wolf Blitzer do with his platform. I'm not trying to be mean, but I haven't seen him really aggressively challenging members of Congress. And this was a great, important moment that he seemed to feel very viscerally and challenge her very effectively on. To me, it was just clear as day that she had kind of been ridiculous and absurd and unconscionable in her answers and outrageously contemptuous and so imperious that she didn't want to be challenged, and that Wolf had done a very effective job. And then I go and look at all the people who were caping for her on Twitter, and Wolf Blitzer, Keith Olbermann said, sorry, this is beyond embarrassing. Wolf Blitzer, you owe Speaker Pelosi and your audience an apology? What are you talking about? These are not celebrity icons. These aren't your friends. These are people who have enormous power over Americans' lives right now, and they're supposed to be challenged. That's the whole role of a journalist, is to challenge them and try to get answers. It blew my mind the number of people who had that take.
Well, their take is simple, which is they don't care about people. They just don't. They want the Democrats to win. And fine, you can want the win. I still think even if they passed at this point, the Democrats would win. But they're like, you know what? If there's even a chance it could help Trump, screw it. Yeah. And like I said in my radar too, it's politically foolish because the people most likely to kill this bill are the GOP Senate caucus. So do a deal with President Trump and then let them kill it. And then you can blame them and point to them. But no, not even a chance that they would let something like this happen. And the contempt and the arrogance on her face, people should think about that when they don't have enough to eat.
And you know what? Maybe you have a good reason why, a substantive, non-political reason for why you don't think that this deal is acceptable, why you think you could hold out for more. But if you listen to this whole interview, she doesn't offer one single substantive difference.
Like I said, there is not any real substantive critique of this deal. Zero. Go read the letter. I put it up there.
And I also think that if she did put out one thing, well, they've got to give on this thing, she's afraid that they would.
Yeah, because they would. Trump will.
And then what would you do? Then you're like, oh, well, actually, no, it's really this other thing. But that's essentially the position that they've been caught in is, look, no, they have some substantive, there are things in there that they want that I would also like to see. But this is the last chance, and a lot of people's lives are on the line. She deserved to be pressed. It was a good moment from Will Flitzer, and I hope that people keep the pressure on here because it is unconscionable what they're doing.
It really is.
All right, we're going to have more Rising for you after this.